Welcome back to I'll Be in the Garage. I'm your host, Stephen Pankratz. So what I want for this project is $25 little cubby holes. This is going to be going into Orion's room.
Oh, hi, let me show you my room.
He loves sorting all of his possessions. It's meant to sit on the floor. What I'd be looking for is a production-ready design. The fewest number of distinct pieces as possible. And the way to do that, I think, and still preserve some like artistic magic, is to have all of my outside pieces that are going to be the framing be the same, and somehow have all the inside parts be the same as each other as well. After breaking down this sheet and get everything together, it's gonna be 7 3/4 inches deep. I'm gonna, again, stick with the design language that I've been working on. Mortise all my outsides, mitered rabbet corners, and I'll show you how I did that once we get to it. That's it, let's do it. This is the jig that I used to do a lot of the routering. It'll all match up and I won't have any odd incongruencies. Second mistake I made, and this is a little bit harder to explain, the cuts that are going into my shelves are supposed to be 2/10 inches deep. So I make it like 1/4 of an inch deep, and then I'm supposed to back it off 5/100ths. And I thought about it, I said, you know what, I think it's fine if I just do 1/4 of an inch deep. And that's not true. So half of all my cuts are 5/100ths too deep. It'll be fine. The way I'm gonna actually back it off 5/100ths is using a feeler gauge from the automotive days. See if I can get that to be more visible. 0.635 and 0.025 on top, it's inches. So what I need is about 0.05 inches. I don't have a 0.05 inch, but I do have a 0.025 and a 0.024. God may know that I'm off by 1/1000th of an inch, but I'm fine with 0.049. Now I'm cutting the mortises for the frame. They're just recessed 1/4 of an inch. And it's kind of tricky because I have to plunge into them, so they're gonna have rounded edges for now, but I can go back with the chisel and open those up a little bit. I'm making them a little undersized, so they should be snug as possible. I'm also using the exact same jig, so that extra wide spacing in the middle will be preserved. What I learned from the last project is if you start using a jig, use it for everything all the way through, and then whatever that error is, at least will be propagated evenly. So a little extra in the middle, they're all the same is what matters. It's hard to see in there where my marks are, so I've got my my lamp with me. I'm gonna drag that along as I go. Should help. Now, if I did this more or less right, these are all my verticals. I should be able to space these out and plop my horizontals right on top. So right now, I'm doing the miter rabbet joint. They have the same, 45-degree angle cut. One side will be a step out with the rabbet, and one will be a step in. So I have it set up so that all 4 of my outside frame parts are lined up. And I'm gonna do all the routering for them in one pass and one side. Somehow, one part of my fence, I thought I had it clamped down tight. It was not clamped down tight enough. And I get to the end and my cut has gone into the project. Yeah, I'm not happy with my execution on this project. Maybe I should just blame my tools. This is an opportunity to use the track saw that I don't have. Leah? All right, enough of that grousing. I'm back from Woodcrafters. 5/8 chisel. I got a digital gauge. I'm gonna use dowels. I've never used dowels before. My plan for today, cut off the ugly corner, go back a few inches, attach a new piece of plywood. I'm gonna do the miter with my table saw. Wish me luck. I have to drill holes nice and straight, but if IKEA can do it, so can I. What we're going to be doing today, I need to glue those sides on, smash it all together. But before I do that, I had a brainwave yesterday. To make it stronger, particularly against shearing force, I want to recycle as much of this jig I made as I can. So I'm actually going to do, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of these tongues. I'm going to cut out all 4 of them, and I'm gonna sand them down a little bit, and I'm gonna stick those entire squares in the backside of my 4 outermost corner cubettes. Then I should be able to glue everything up. It got rainy. I don't want to be wet. Okay, now come do the 46-degree cut. Here goes nothing. A little tap, tap, tap there. That'll go in. And then here's the one I just made. Gap's pretty small from a different angle. And with a little help from clamps again. Not perfect, but you know, we're learning. What's good, man?
This is cool. Bookshelf?
Kind of.
Yep.
My son has so much shit.
Oh, like cubbies?
Yeah, he needs just a million little drawers.
Awesome.
If you want to come a little closer, I'll tell you a little bit about it. I won't take all of your time. It's been a week since I put this in, and Orion, without any prompting, filled it with his stuff and labeled every single, well, not every single, but nearly every single place that he put all of his goodies. So I think that the rough design idea was spot on for his needs. So he's thrilled.
Oh, hi, let me show you my room.
I'm happy with the design. I think the choices I made for like what I wanted to do were right. But it came down again to skill issues, as we like to say, and a few choices in how to do things that I regret. As I was working with it, I realized that these 12 boards, they're all the same length, that was fine, and they're all the same width, but their width was a little inconsistent, meaning like they weren't all straight lines, and I'm not sure who was cutting the bad lines, whether that was done at the wood shop, where I had them break it down about halfway for me, or the other half of the cuts that I did at home on the table saw. I want to believe that it was them who made the mistake, because not only then would they have not cut straight lines for me, they are also definitely responsible for all of the tear out. I don't even want to show it. There's so much, but like many of these edges, if you were to look closely, are just a little splintery, or more than a little splintery. So the takeaway for that first one is stop having the folks at the wood shop, wherever I go, cut it for me. Instead, just pay the delivery fee, or order enough plywood at once that they'll comp the delivery. So I think that's what I'll do in the future. Just get like 4 or 5 sheets of plywood at a time, knowing that I'm going to use it. I think it's just nice to have extra plywood around, useful for making jigs and stuff like that. Don't have them do the cuts for me anymore. Just get the whole sheets and do it myself. But you might ask, how are you going to do it yourself if all you have is a rickety contractor table saw? That's the other thing. The one tool that I'm realizing the more work I do, I really need is a circular saw. Particularly, I want to get a track saw. Buy once, cry once. Back to the project though. The way that these joints came together, they did all hammer together, but they were not all perfectly aligned. So a lot of the shelves are coming together more like this than like that. And there's little gaps here and there. So I'm sad about that. And that's item 3, is the routering. I actually didn't screw up that much with the routering. There are a few places where I accidentally I pushed through my fence, and that's just, dude, you gotta tighten your clamps before you push on a fence. Stuff like that. Be more careful. With the routering though, I don't think the jig was a bad idea, but I think that I would like to try using a track with the router next time. My miter rabbet joints up in the corner are highly variable in quality. I think I just had my order of operations wrong with how I was cutting those joints, which I want to keep doing in projects and screwing up, but I want to keep doing it until I get good at them. I feel like I love the way they look when they come out well, and it's worth getting a process that I'm really happy with, and I want to keep working on that. Last thing I want to say is about the Rubio monocoat. Their colors are just a little whack. Ah, yes, oak, a color we are all familiar with. Huh, I don't know. Looks kind of green to me. Is this greenness coming across? Pink for contrast. So I think I'm done getting their colored one-stop solutions. All right, well, Orion's really happy with it.
Oh, hi, let me show you my room.
I think I figured out some of the issues with glue up. Basically, I did the glue up in 2 or 3 stages, and that meant that I had the right number of clamps for each step that I was doing. All right, friends, this project was a hoot, not least of all because my son likes it. And the last few mornings he's walked through his clean room, been able to find everything he needs to play with. He said, I love my room. Thank you, Daddy. I have the best room. I can't wait to show my friends. That kind of thing gets us in the fields. All right, I'll be in the garage.
So, these are my rolls of tape. They're my washi tape. I found the other one. The sunglass is kind of broken away. And over here, see, it's kind of like, you can notice the rug isn't filled with junk very much. There's Oshiri Tante. Let me show you that. pretty cool. There's like a crossword puzzle. There's a book review. Mine's go like that. You can do what I can do. I am done.